You ever seen an empath truly snap? Not the "I'm hurt and I'll cry about it" kind of snap. I'm talking about the moment when someone who loved you through hell stops loving you completely. See, people always think empaths are soft, too forgiving, too emotional, too willing to see the good in someone who's shown them every red flag in the book. And they're right, for a while. But there's a version of an empath no one talks about. The version that shows up when they've been pushed too far. When the lies, the gaslighting, the second chances, they all dry up. When the one who used to make excuses for your pain suddenly holds up a mirror to it instead. That empath, they're not angry, they're done. And trust me, anything scares a narcissist more than an empath who's done explaining themselves. Empaths don't explode, they evaporate. They don't burn the bridge. They walk away, quietly, and never look back. And that silence, that's war to a narcissist. And when the empath finally stops caring, that's when the narcissist loses everything. Not because the empath became cruel, but because they finally stopped betraying themselves. First comes the realization. The empath stops seeing the narcissist as broken and starts seeing them for what they are. A predator in a victim's costume. They no longer think, maybe I can fix them. Now it's, they knew exactly what they were doing. That shift alone, earth-shattering. Then comes the silence. No more texts, no more calls, no more long-winded explanations. They don't argue anymore. They don't try to prove their point. They let the narcissist choke on their own narratives. Because the empath finally understands you can't explain the truth to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Then comes the exposure. See, the empath knows everything, every manipulation, every secret, every mask. And when they decide to start telling their story, they don't do it with rage. They do it with receipts. They stop protecting the narcissist image and start protecting themselves and others. They start talking not to destroy but to warn. Then comes the detachment. You'll see the narcissist scramble, hoovering, love bombing, pretending to change. But the empath doesn't flinch. They see right through it. Every grand apology, every "I've changed" speech. They don't want revenge. They want distance. They're not trying to win the game anymore. They've quit the league entirely. Then comes the boundary. Hard, unbreakable, non-negotiable. The narcissist starts realizing, I don't get to rewrite this story anymore. No more access, no more control, no more emotional real estate. And that's terrifying. Because for the narcissist, being ignored is worse than being hated. Then comes the unraveling. Without the empath around to sponge up the emotional mess, the narcissist is stuck with themselves. And they hate that. Because now, there's no distraction. No one left to gaslight. No one left to absorb their chaos. Just silence. And self-reflection, a place narcissists never survive for long. And finally, the empath heals. They smile again. They rebuild. They glow up without the narcissist. And that is the cruelest thing the narcissist never saw coming. Because it means the narcissist never had real power. They just fed off someone who gave it willingly. But now, that supply is gone. And in its place, peace, power, and a version of the empath who doesn't look back. So let me say this to the ones still in it. If you're the empath who's been manipulated, guilted, emotionally drained, please understand this. You don't have to become bitter. You just have to become clear. Clear about who they are. Clear about what you deserve. Clear about who you're never going to be again. This isn't about revenge. This is about release. Because the most dangerous version of an empath isn't cruel. It's unavailable. It's the one who stopped explaining and started living. It's the one who finally realized loving someone should never cost you yourself. If this hit home, if this felt like your story, subscribe and send this to someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the softest souls become the strongest when they've had enough. And if you're there now, welcome to your power.